I was eating cold noodles in the bunker when the screen lit up. My spoon froze halfway to my mouth. The feed was live from the Galactic Council chamber, and our envoy was on her knees. My name is Adrian Vale. I'm a commander in Earth's Defense Fleet, and that night I watched the galaxy make the worst mistake of its long, smug history. The bunker was quiet. 12 of us sat around the long steel table watching the wall screen. Our envoy, Ambassador Helen Carter, stood in the middle of the council floor. She was small. The 7 judges towered above her on a floating platform. The Krell judge had 4 arms and scales. The others were just as strange. They stared down at her like she was an insect. Helen did not look afraid. She looked tired. "You are charged with biological aggression," the Krell judge said. His voice came through the translator flat and cold. "Your people sent a sickness on a trade ship. It killed many of our citizens." Helen lifted her head. "We did no such thing. The sickness came from your own cargo. We have proof. Let me show it." "Your proof is denied." I felt my chest tighten. Beside me, Lieutenant Park set down his coffee. Nobody spoke. We all knew what was happening. This was a show, a trial with the ending already written. Helen stayed calm. "Then this is not a trial. This is a performance. You will be silent." "I will not." The judges looked at each other. The Krell judge raised one of his 4 hands. 2 guards stepped forward. They were tall and thin, with helmets that hid their faces. I leaned closer to the screen. My heart was beating fast. Helen looked straight at the camera, straight at us, straight at me sitting in that cold bunker on the other side of the galaxy. Her eyes were steady. She did not blink. "Tell them," she said softly. "Tell them what you saw. Tell them what they did." Then the Krell judge gave a small nod. The guards raised their weapons. There was a flash of bright blue light and the feed went black. Nobody moved. The bunker was so quiet I could hear the air system humming. Lieutenant Park whispered, "Did that just happen?" I did not answer. I could not. My noodles were cold in front of me. My hands were on the table. My mind was empty for 1 full second. Then it filled up with something dark and heavy and quiet, and I knew that everything had changed. The lights in the bunker flickered. A new alert came through. Red letters across every screen. All commanders to report to Strategic Command at once. I stood up, so did the others. We did not say a word. We moved like people in a dream. Outside the bunker, the world was already different. The base was alive with running boots and shouting voices. Trucks rolled across the runway. Pilots ran to their ships. I had never seen anything move so fast. I climbed into a transport. The driver, a young woman named Clara Webb, gave me a quick salute. Her face was pale. "Did you see it, sir?" she asked. "I saw it. My brother is on Mars station. He just called me. The whole colony is watching the news. People are crying in the streets. They should be." She drove me through the dark base. The sky above was full of lights moving fast. Our orbital fleet was waking up. Ships that had slept for years were lighting their engines. I could feel the low rumble in my chest. We reached the command building. I stepped out and walked through the heavy doors. Inside, officers were running in every direction. Screens covered every wall. Maps of the galaxy, lists of ships, lines of code I could not read. A young aide grabbed my arm. "Commander Vale, this way. The general is waiting." He pulled me through the crowd to a private office. General Marcus Hill stood behind a desk. He was a tall man with gray hair and eyes that never showed much. Tonight, his eyes were burning. "Sit down, Vale." I sat. He pushed a sealed folder across the desk. The cover had 2 words printed on it in black letters, Protocol Obsidian. I had heard the name once, years ago, during a classified meeting. I had been told it did not exist. I had been told to forget I ever heard it. "Open it," he said. I broke the seal. Inside were thin sheets of paper. The first line was simple. I read it twice to be sure. "In the case of unforgivable hostility from any galactic power, Earth shall remove the threat, beginning with leaders, spreading to all who supported them, until the threat is gone." I looked up, "Sir." You are promoted, Vale. You will lead the first wave. Sir, this is what we promised ourselves we would never do. Yes, I know. He sat down across from me. For a long moment, he just looked at his hands. 11 years ago, he said quietly, the council let us join. They smiled. They gave us a small seat at the back. They called us promising. Then they took our resources. They took our trade routes. They took our pride. We waited. We were patient. We sent Helen Carter because she was the best of us, the kindest, the smartest. They knew that. And they killed her on live broadcast to send us a message. What message? That we are small, that we are nothing, that we should be quiet. He looked up. His eyes were wet, but his jaw was tight. Tonight, Vale, we send our reply. I sat back in my chair. The folder felt heavy in my hands. How long do I have? 6 hours. The fleet is already moving. You will lead from the dreadnought Endeavor. She is waiting in lunar shadow. The Endeavor does not exist, sir, according to council records. For the first time that night, the general gave a small, cold smile. That is correct, Vale. According to council records, many things do not exist. Tonight, they will learn how wrong their records are. I stood up, my legs were steady. I did not know how. Inside, my heart was racing. One more thing, he said. He pushed a small data chip across the desk. Helen sent this 2 minutes before the trial started. Watch it on the way up. She knew what was coming. She did her job until the very last second. I picked up the chip. It was small and warm. Sir, the people already know. They watch the broadcast. Look outside, Vale. Tell me what you see. I walked to the window of the office. The window faced the city. I had never seen anything like it. The streets were full of people, not running, not screaming, walking, quiet. They held candles. They held photos of Helen. They walked toward the recruiting stations. The lines were already long and more people were coming every minute. I saw fathers with their teenage sons, mothers with their daughters, old men who had served 30 years ago and now wore their old uniforms again. 40 million people would sign up that night. That was the official count later. But standing at that window, I just saw a sea of small lights moving in the dark, all going the same way. They are not afraid, sir, I said. No, they are not. They are something worse than afraid. They are decided. I left the office. I walked back through the command building. My boots echoed on the floor. People stepped out of my way. They could see something in my face. I do not know what it was. A transport ship was waiting for me on the roof. The pilot was a woman named Olivia Dean. She gave me a sharp salute and pointed me to the seat beside her. Lunar Shadow, sir, the Endeavor. Yes, it is a real ship. It is now. She smiled, and there was something hard in her smile. We lifted off. The city dropped away below us. As we climbed, I could still see the lines of small candle lights, like rivers of stars on the dark ground. I plugged Helen's data chip into the small screen on my arm. Her face appeared. She was sitting in a small room. Behind her, I could see the lights of the council station through a tiny window. Adrian, she said. She always called me Adrian, never Commander. We had been friends since the academy. If you are watching this, then I am gone and the war has started. I am sorry. She paused. Her voice was tight but steady. They are going to kill me. I have known for 3 days. I have proof in my coat. Names of every judge who took bribes. Maps of their fleet positions. Codes for their command channels. I am sending it all now on a separate channel to General Hill. Use it. Use all of it. They think we are weak, Adrian. They think we will cry and beg and ask for mercy. They do not understand us. They have never understood us. We do not beg. When you push us, we go quiet. When you push us harder, we plan. And when you take from us something we love, we do not stop. Not ever. She leaned closer to the camera. I am not asking for revenge, Adrian. I am asking for justice. There is a difference. Do not forget the difference. The transport climbed through the upper atmosphere. The sky outside the window turned from blue to black. Stars appeared, sharp and cold. One last thing, Helen said. When you stand on the bridge of whatever ship they give you and you look out at the dark, remember this. We did not ask for this fight. We tried for 11 years to be peaceful, to be friends, to be partners. They laughed at us. They took from us. And then they killed me on camera to make a point. Now make yours. The screen went black. I closed my eyes for a moment. The transport hummed around me. Olivia did not speak. I think she could see I needed silence. When I opened my eyes again, we were past the moon's edge. Lunar shadow, the dark side where no council sensor could reach. And there, hanging in the empty space, was the Endeavor. She was huge, a full kilometer long, black hull, sharp lines, no markings. She was the size of a small city. Around her in long rows were more ships, cruisers, frigates, destroyers, carriers, hundreds of them. A whole fleet hidden in the moon's shadow for 9 years waiting. Olivia let out a soft whistle. Sir, that cannot be real. It is real. How did they hide all of this? We told the council we had no exotic technology. They believed us. They wrote it in their reports. They never came to look. Their pride blinded them. The transport docked with the Endeavor. The huge bay doors opened, and we slid inside. A welcoming party was waiting, officers in fresh uniforms. A captain named Daniel Hart, who would be my second in command. He saluted me sharply. Welcome aboard, Commander Vale. The fleet is at your command. Orders. I looked at him. I looked at the men and women lined up behind him. They were waiting. The whole fleet was waiting. The whole planet was waiting. I thought of Helen, kneeling on the council floor. I thought of her last words, tell them what you saw. I thought of the candles in the streets. Captain Hart, I said, my voice was calm. I was surprised by how calm I sounded. Set course for the Krell home system, full fleet, no stops, no warnings. He smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a man who had been waiting 11 years to hear those words. Yes, sir. The bay doors closed behind me. Somewhere far below, on Earth, 40 million people were signing their names. Somewhere far above, the council judges were celebrating their show. They were drinking. They were toasting. They had no idea what was coming for them. But they would, very, very soon. We jumped out of lunar shadow at exactly 4 in the morning, Earth time. The Endeavor and her 200 sister ships tore a hole in space and stepped through it. Behind us, the moon went still and quiet again, like nothing had ever been there. I stood on the bridge of the Endeavor. The viewing window was the size of a house. Stars stretched in long lines as we cut through the dark. Captain Daniel Hart stood at my left. The bridge crew worked at their stations, calm and focused. No one spoke unless they had to. The ship hummed around us, deep and steady. I thought I would feel powerful. I did not. I felt small. The galaxy is very big and we were going to set part of it on fire. 2 hours to first jump point, sir, said the navigation officer. Her name was Kate Lawson, a young woman with red hair and steady hands. All ships are following formation. Good. Tell the fleet to maintain silence on all open channels. Use only our private codes. Yes, sir. Captain Hart turned to me. He was older than me, 50 maybe, with a calm, lined face. Sir, you should rest. The next 18 hours are going to be long. I cannot sleep. Then eat, drink water, walk the ship. Let the crew see you. They need to see that their commander is steady. It was good advice. I nodded and stepped off the bridge. The Endeavor was a city, not a ship. Long hallways full of crew members hurrying to their posts. Mess halls full of voices. Engineering bays where huge engines glowed soft blue. Medical wings being prepared for what was coming. I walked through it all. I tried to look calm. I tried to look ready. In the mess hall, I sat at a table with a group of young pilots. They went silent when they saw me. I told them to keep eating. A pilot named Tom Brennan, maybe 23 years old, asked me a question. Sir, is it true about Ambassador Carter? Yes. On camera. On camera. The pilots looked at each other. Tom set down his fork. His eyes were red. She came to my high school once, 3 years ago. She gave a speech. She said the galaxy was bigger than our problems and we had to be patient with our new neighbors. She told us to be kind. A young woman beside him, Pilot Ruth Adams, spoke softly. She wrote me a letter when my father died. He was a diplomat too. She did not have to, she just did it. The other pilots nodded. Stories came out around the table. Helen had touched 100 small lives in 100 small ways. She had been kind, the way good people are kind without thinking about it, every day for years. I listened. I did not say much. When I left the mess hall, I felt something cold and hard settle into my chest, and I knew I would carry it for the rest of my life. I walked back to the bridge. As I walked, I thought about what we knew about the Krell. The council thought we knew almost nothing. They thought we were stupid primates with chemical rockets and good intentions. They thought we had spent 11 years learning their language and admiring their cities. They were wrong. For 11 years, we had pretended to be small. We had smiled and bowed and asked polite questions. While we did, we had built the Endeavor in lunar shadow. We had built the Kuiper Forges, huge robot factories at the edge of our solar system that built warships in 9 days. We had cracked the Council's command codes. We had mapped every defense grid of every Council homeworld. We had studied their ship designs and built better ones. And the part I tried not to think about, we had worked on other things too. Things that were locked in deep vaults under the Atacama Desert. Things that had names like Compound 7. Things that no good people would ever build unless the world had pushed them too far. Tonight, the world had pushed us too far. Back on the bridge, Captain Hart was looking at a tactical map. The Krell home system spread across the screen. 3 planets, 1 main world called Krell Prime, 12 orbital stations, a defense fleet of 400 ships. "Show me their patrol patterns," I said. Kate brought up the data. The Krell patrols were lazy, predictable, they expected nothing. The Council had told them humanity was no threat. They had believed it. "Sir," said Captain Hart, "we have an opportunity. Helen Carter sent us their old transponder codes. The codes are still active. If we use them, we can enter the system as Council ships. Their grid will not warn anyone for at least 18 minutes. By the time they realize we are not friends, we will be on top of them." 18 minutes. "Yes, sir." I looked at the map. Krell Prime was a green and blue world, much like Earth. 9 billion living beings called it home. Most of them were not soldiers. Most of them were just citizens, going about their lives, never asking who their judges chose to send messages to or how those messages were sent. I felt sick, but I also remembered Helen on the Council floor, the Krell judge with his 4 arms, the flash of blue light. "Use the codes," I said. "Yes, sir." We jumped into the Krell system at 0600 their time. Most of the planet was asleep. The defense grid pinged us. Our fake codes answered. The grid went quiet. We were inside. For 18 minutes, we drifted through their system like ghosts. In those 18 minutes, I did the hardest thing I have ever done. I gave the targeting order. Not the cities, not the people, not the homes. The military bases, the defense ships, the orbital platforms, the Council embassy where the Krell judge had a private office, the government towers where the people who had voted to kill Helen worked. "Targeting confirmed," said Lieutenant Park, my weapons officer. He was a sharp, quiet man with steady eyes. All ships locked on. "Captain Hart." "Sir." "Are we doing the right thing?" He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, "I do not know, sir, but I know this. If we let them get away with what they did, every species in the galaxy will think they can do it too. Helen will not be the last. The next time it will be 100 Helens, then 1,000. So we are stopping that." "We are stopping that, yes, sir." I took a breath. The bridge was very quiet. The stars outside the window were sharp and cold. I gave the order. The whole fleet fired at once. Hundreds of long lances of blue light reached out across space. They hit their targets in perfect timing. Defense platforms, military bases, government towers, the Council embassy, all of it gone in less than a minute. The Krell defense fleet woke up too late. Their ships scrambled. They tried to form a line. We cut through them. Their weapons did not work on our shields. Our weapons cut through theirs like paper. In 1 hour, the Krell defense fleet was gone. Their orbital stations were silent. Their military bases were dark. Krell Prime was open below us. Captain Hart turned to me. His face was pale. "Sir, Earth Command has just sent new orders." "What orders?" He held out a small tablet. I read it. The orders said that the Krell Council members, the ones who had voted to kill Helen, were hiding in deep underground bunkers. The bunkers were too deep for our weapons. The only way to reach them was Compound 7. Compound 7, the thing locked in the Atacama vaults. I read the orders 3 times. My hands were shaking just a little. "Sir," said Captain Hart, "we do not need this. We can land troops. We can dig them out the slow way." "Sir, the orders are from the High Council." "I know who they are from." I walked to the window. I looked down at Krell Prime. The cities were lighting up below us. People were waking up to the news that their world had no defenses left. They would be afraid. They would be confused. Most of them had nothing to do with what their leaders had done. Compound 7 would not care about that. It was a smart weapon. It would find the bunkers. It would find the leaders. But the air would carry it everywhere. I thought of Earth. I thought of my daughter, Maya, 8 years old, asleep in her bed in Boston. I thought of what kind of father I would be when I came home if I gave this order. I thought of Helen. I closed my eyes. Then I opened them, and I did the only thing I could think of. I refused the order. "Captain Hart, send a message to Earth Command. We are not using Compound 7. We will land troops. We will take the bunkers the slow way. It will cost us soldiers, but it is the right way." He stared at me. For a long second, I thought he would argue. Then he smiled. It was a small, tired smile. "Yes, sir, with pleasure." The reply from Earth Command came back 10 minutes later. I expected to be relieved of command. I expected to be ordered home in chains. The message was just one line, from General Hill himself. "Good, that was the test. You passed it. Take the bunkers your way." I sat down hard in my chair. Captain Hart was laughing softly. "A test, sir. They were testing you." "Apparently. Good people on the High Council. Better than I knew." We landed troops. It took 3 days. We dug the leaders out of their bunkers one by one. We did not hurt civilians. We did not poison the air. We brought the council judges out alive. They blinked at the bright sun. They looked very small without their floating platforms. The Krell judge who had killed Helen was the last one out. 4 arms, cold scales. He looked at me with no expression. I did not say anything to him. I had nothing to say. I had Captain Hart take him into custody. He would stand trial on Earth in our courts with our laws. He would have a defense lawyer. He would have a fair hearing. He would face justice. That was what Helen had asked for. Not revenge, justice. She had been very clear about the difference. As we lifted off Krell Prime 3 days later, I stood on the bridge and looked down at the planet. The cities were still there. The people were still there. The government would be rebuilt by the Krell themselves, with no council judges left to control them. That was their problem to solve, not mine. But the message had been sent, and it was a clear one. You do not kill our envoys. Not anymore, not ever again. The fleet jumped out of the Krell system and headed for the next stop. There were 6 more council homeworlds to visit, 6 more lessons to teach. But we would teach them the same way, with courts, with justice, with control. We would be hard, but we would not be cruel. We would be a force that could not be stopped, but also a force that knew when to stop. We would be human, the good kind of human, the kind Helen had spent her whole life trying to show the galaxy. In my quarters that night, I wrote a letter to Maya. I told her I loved her. I told her I missed her. I told her I was doing my best to come home as the same father who had left. Then I slept. For the first time in 5 days, I slept. Tomorrow, the work would begin again. But tonight, I had passed a test I had not even known I was taking. And the galaxy, I thought as I closed my eyes, was about to learn something new about humanity. We were not what they had thought. We were not weak. We were not cruel. We were, in the end, exactly what we said we were. Patient until we were not. And once we were not, we did not stop until the work was done. The next world was called Vorthani 5. It was the home of the second judge who had voted to kill Helen. We came out of jump space at the edge of the system. This time, the Vorthani knew we were coming. The news from Krell Prime had spread fast. Their defense fleet was already in formation. Their orbital guns were already armed. The lazy days were over. The galaxy was awake now. "Sir, they are hailing us," said Kate Lawson at the communications board. "Put it on the screen." A Vorthani admiral appeared on the bridge wall. The Vorthani were tall and thin, with long fingers and pale blue skin. The admiral wore a dark green uniform. His eyes were bright and hard. "Earth Fleet," he said. "I am Admiral Vren of the Vorthani Defense Force. State your business in our system." I walked to the front of the bridge so he could see me clearly. "Admiral Vren, I am Commander Adrian Vale of the Earthship Endeavor. I am here to take Judge Saller into custody. He is charged with the unlawful killing of Earth Ambassador Helen Carter in violation of Council law and basic decency. Hand him over and we will leave your system in peace." The Admiral's face hardened. Judge Saller is a Vorthani citizen. He answers to Vorthani law, not Earth law. He committed his crime on Council territory in front of cameras against a Council member's envoy. That makes it a Council matter. The Council is broken, so we are handling it. You are not the law. Today we are. The Admiral leaned forward. His pale blue face filled the screen. "Commander Vale, we have 800 warships in this system. You have 200. We have planetary shields you cannot break. We have been preparing for this for 11 years. I paused. He was right about one thing. They had been preparing. They had been preparing for the wrong fight, but they had been preparing. "Admiral Vren," I said, "you have 800 warships, we know. We have studied them. They are good ships, but your shield generators are at coordinates we have already mapped. Your fuel depots are in places we have already mapped. Your command bunker where you are sitting right now is in a place we have already mapped." His eyes flickered just a little. 11 years, I continued. You spent 11 years preparing to fight us. We spent 11 years preparing to fight you. The difference is we knew what we were doing. You did not. You are bluffing. Test me. He held my eyes for a long moment. Then he cut the call. The bridge was silent. Captain Hart looked at me. "Sir, were we bluffing?" "No." "Good." We waited 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then the Vorthani sent another message. This one was different. It was from their Prime Minister, a small old woman with silver hair. She looked tired. "Commander Vale, we will hand over Judge Saller. He will be released to your custody within 1 hour. We ask only that you leave our system without further action." "Madam Prime Minister, done, thank you." She looked at me for a long second. Then she said very quietly, "Your ambassador. She came to my world once 6 years ago. She had tea with me. She brought me a book of Earth poetry. She was a kind woman, Commander Vale. I am sorry for what was done to her. Not all Vorthani agreed with our judge. He did not speak for all of us. Thank you for telling me that. Will you remember it? When you tell this story in the years to come, will you remember that not all of us agreed?" "Yes, ma'am, I will remember." She gave me a small nod and ended the call. 1 hour later, Judge Saller was on board the Endeavor, in a holding cell, on his way to Earth to stand trial. We left the Vorthani system without firing a shot. Captain Hart stood beside me as we jumped out. "Sir, we just took a council judge out of a defended system, without firing a single weapon." "Yes." "How?" "Because they were afraid, Captain. They saw what happened at Krell Prime. They saw that we did not destroy the planet. They saw that we took only the judges. They saw we held trials on Earth with lawyers and courtrooms. So they knew 2 things. 1, we are very strong. 2, we are not crazy. That is a hard thing to fight against when you yourself know your judge was guilty." He nodded slowly. Strong but fair. Strong but fair. Helen always said that was the only way to be. The next 4 worlds went the same way. Some sent their judges out willingly. Some required us to push but never to fight. The Sephiri Republic tried to hide their judge in a deep ocean base. We sent down a small team of Marines who found him in 3 days. The Drenic Empire actually thanked us. They had wanted to remove their judge for years. Now they had an excuse. Only one world fought us. The Krell had been the first. The 7th and last was the Quarn Federation. The Quarn were proud. They had been proud for 10,000 years. Their judge, a creature called Moxden, had been the loudest voice for killing Helen. He had given a speech afterward, calling us primitive vermin and saying the galaxy would be better when we were controlled. That speech had been on our news for weeks. The Quarn Council sent us a message before we even arrived in their system. Commander Vale, you will not enter our space. We will not surrender Judge Moxden. We will fight. Confirmed, I said. We jumped in. They had 1,000 ships. They had 2 planetary shields. They had every weapon they owned ready to fire. I had a plan. It was a hard plan. It was a plan that would take everything we had. Lieutenant Park brought up the targeting map. Sir, all units in position. Captain Hart, I want you to take half the fleet and engage their main force. Pull them away from the home planet. Make them chase you. Do not lose ships if you can avoid it. Use our speed. Yes, sir. Lieutenant Park, the rest of us will go straight for the home planet. We will break the orbital shield. We will land troops. We will take Moxden alive. Yes, sir. The bridge crew got to work. The fleet split. Half of our ships went one way, half went the other. The Quarn were confused for a critical 60 seconds. They could not decide which group to follow. By the time they made up their minds, we were already past their first defense line. The battle for Quarn Prime took 6 hours. It was the hardest fighting any of us had ever seen. We lost 18 ships. 312 men and women died. I knew most of their names. I had walked the halls of the Endeavor with them. I had eaten meals with them. They had families. We won. We broke the shield. We landed 3,000 Marines. They reached Moxden's tower in 4 hours. The Quarn judge was found in his private office, sitting at his desk, calm and proud. He did not resist. He stood up, straightened his robes, and walked out with his hands behind his back. When they brought him onto the Endeavor, he looked at me with cold, yellow eyes. Primitive vermin, he said. I looked back at him. I thought of Helen. I thought of the 312 names I would have to write to families. Judge Moxden, I said. On Earth, we have a saying, the bigger the fall, the harder the ground. You are about to learn how that works. I had him taken to a cell. Then I went back to my quarters and sat very still for a long time. Captain Hart came in after a while. He brought 2 cups of tea. Sir, the fleet has regrouped. We are heading home. Good. You did the right thing. I do not know that, Captain. I do not know that at all. He sat down across from me. He set down the tea. He looked at me with old eyes. Sir, I have been a sailor for 30 years. I have seen good captains and bad captains. The bad ones are sure they are right. The good ones doubt. You are doubting. That is good. Keep doubting. Just do not stop. I picked up the tea. It was warm in my hands. Captain, when we get home, I am going to ask to be relieved of command. I thought you might. Will the High Council allow it? Yes, but they will want you to give one more speech first, to the people of Earth. They have been waiting for you. The whole planet has been watching. What do they expect me to say? He smiled. It was a soft smile. Whatever is true, sir. That is all they have ever expected. We jumped for home. Behind us, we left 7 worlds, all of them changed, none of them destroyed. Their judges were all in cells on the Endeavor, all on their way to trial. On Earth, the trials would last 6 months. Each judge would have a fair hearing. Each would have a defense team. Each would be shown all the evidence. In the end, 4 would be found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. 2 would be deported back to their home worlds with a permanent ban from public office. One, Moxden, would die in prison of natural causes before his sentence was complete. It would not be the violent revenge story the galaxy had expected. It would be something stranger, something they did not have a word for. It would be justice the slow way, the right way, the human way. When the Endeavor came home, 10 million people lined the coasts to watch us land. They were silent, no cheering, no flags, just silence and a kind of deep, heavy gratitude. I gave my speech the next day. It was short. I will tell you what I said in the next part of this story. But first I had to go home, to Boston, to my daughter Maya. She was waiting at the door of our small house. She had grown an inch in the months I had been gone. She did not run to me. She just stood there, looking at me with serious eyes. "Daddy," she said, "are you home?" "I am home, Maya." "For real? For real?" She came forward then. She put her small arms around my waist. She did not cry, she just held on. I knelt down and held her back. Over her shoulder I could see the evening sky. The stars were out. The galaxy was quiet again. The work was almost done. But there was one more part of the story to tell. The part where I found out what kind of world we had made. Whether we had made a better one or only a stronger one. Whether the long peace would hold or whether we would have to do this again. That part is coming. I will tell it now. The peace lasted 12 years. Not perfect peace. There were small problems. A pirate group on the edge of the old Krell systems. A trade dispute with the Liari Confederation. A misunderstanding with the Drenic Empire that almost became a fight until Cool Head stopped it. Small things. Manageable things. Human things in a galaxy that was now mostly run by humans, whether the other species liked it or not. I had retired by then. After my speech to Earth, after Maya wrapped her arms around me, after the trials of the council judges were done, I asked the High Council to let me step down. They tried to talk me out of it. I was a hero, they said. A symbol. The people loved me. I told them the people did not need to love me. The people needed leaders who were thinking about the next 20 years, not the last 20 months. I had done my work. It was someone else's turn. They let me go. I bought a small house on the coast of Maine, north of Boston, where the rocks meet the sea. Maya came to live with me on weekends. She was 13 now, then 14, then 15. She was tall and serious, with her mother's dark hair and my stubborn jaw. She wanted to be a diplomat. The new kind, she said. The kind who carried Helen Carter's books in her bag and not just Helen Carter's name on her file. I told her she would be a fine diplomat. I meant it. The galaxy I lived in was strange to me, even though I had helped to make it. Earth sat at the center of a new alliance called the Sol Accord. Most of the old council species had joined. A few had not. The ones who had not were watched closely. The ones who had were treated as friends. The rules of the Accord were simple. No one harms another member's diplomats. No one starts wars without trying everything else first. No one builds secret weapons without telling everyone else. No one lies in court. The rules were enforced by Earth's fleet, which was now 4 times the size it had been when we jumped on the Krell. We did not need to use it. The threat was enough, most of the time. I gave only one interview, 2 years after I retired. A young reporter named Sophie Lane came to my house. She had grown up watching me on the news, she said. She had wanted to ask me one question for a long time. "Commander Vale," she said, "we were sitting on my porch. The sea was loud in the background. Do you think the galaxy is better because of what we did?" I thought about the question for a long time. I was not in a hurry. She did not push me. "I think," I said finally, "that the galaxy is more honest. The council was a place where the strong species talked nicely and took what they wanted, and the small species smiled and gave it. That was not peace. That was a kind of slow theft. We stopped it. Now the strong species talk plainly and they think twice before they take. The small species, the new species, can speak up without being killed. That is better. But we made the galaxy afraid of us." She wrote that down. I watched her write it. "Is that a price you accept?" "It is a price I live with. There is a difference." She published the interview a week later. It was the most watched interview in galactic history at that time. People still send me messages about it, even now. The years went by. Maya grew up. She went to the new diplomatic school in Geneva, the one named after Helen Carter. She graduated at the top of her class. She was sent to the Liari Confederation as a junior aide. She did well there. Within 5 years, she was the youngest senior ambassador in Earth's history. She was 26. When she came home for a visit that summer, she sat with me on the porch. She had grown up so fast. She had her mother's quiet smile now. "Dad, I have a question." "Go ahead." "The Liari elders ask me about you sometimes. They say you are a frightening figure in their history books. They say their children are taught to be careful because the human commander once changed the galaxy with a single fleet. What do you tell them?" "I tell them you are an old man who lives by the sea and reads books and misses your wife." "That is true. But they want more. They want to know if you regret it." I thought about that for a long time. "Maya, do you remember Helen Carter?" "Of course, we learned about her in school." "What did they teach you?" "That she was an envoy who tried to bring peace, and the council killed her, and her death started a war." That is the school version. The true version is smaller. Helen was my friend. I knew her since we were both young officers in the academy. She had a quiet laugh. She liked old movies. She made the worst coffee in the building. She wrote me a letter once when my wife died, and that letter is in my desk drawer right now. It is the kindest letter I ever read. Maya was quiet. They killed her on camera, Maya. Not because she had done anything wrong. Because she was small, and they thought we were small, and they wanted to send a message to small species that they should be quiet. They thought we would cry and beg. They did not know us. And so you went. And so I went, with a fleet that had been waiting for 11 years for that day. We did what we did. We took the judges. We held trials. We changed the galaxy. And yes, we made it afraid of us. That is the price. Do you regret it? I looked at the sea. The waves were rolling in slow and calm. Gulls cried in the distance. The sky was painted pink and orange. No, Maya, I do not regret it. I regret that it was needed. I regret that Helen had to die for the galaxy to learn its lesson. I regret every soldier who died in the fleet. I regret the families that lost children, but the action itself, no, I do not regret it. We did the work that needed doing. We did it as cleanly as we could. We held trials. We did not destroy worlds. We did not poison cities. We took the guilty and we left the innocent alone. That is the part I am proud of. That is what I want you to remember. Strong is not the same as cruel. Power is not the same as evil. We were strong. We tried hard not to be cruel. Most of the time, we managed. Maya sat quietly for a long time. The sun was setting now. The sea was turning dark. Dad, can I tell you something? Always. The Liari elders, they say something else when they think I am not listening. They say that the galaxy was lucky. Lucky how? They say that the humans could have been different. The humans could have wiped out the Krell. The humans could have poisoned the Vorthani. The humans had the weapons. They had the will. The whole galaxy was watching, and the whole galaxy was waiting to be next. And the humans did not do it. The humans took the judges, held the trials, went home. The Liari elders say that no other species in the galaxy would have shown that restraint. They say that we were lucky that the species who got the power was the species that knew how to set it down. I looked at my daughter. She was crying a little. I had not seen her cry in years. That is a kind thing to hear, Maya. Is it true, Dad? It is true that we tried. That is all I can say, we tried. She wiped her eyes. The sun was almost gone now. Dad, I have one more question. Yes. What do you want them to remember about you, when all of this is just history? I sat with that question for a long time. The sea kept rolling. The first stars were coming out. I do not need them to remember me, Maya. I want them to remember Helen. She was the best of us. She was the one who tried to do all of this with words. We failed her. The galaxy failed her. I did what I did because she could no longer do what she did. If they remember anyone, let it be her. Let it be the woman who tried to make it work without a fight. The fighters come and go. The people who try to make peace are rare. They should be remembered. Maya nodded slowly. She wrote it down on a small piece of paper. She folded the paper carefully and put it in her pocket. "I will pass that on," she said. "Thank you." We sat together until the stars came out. The whole sky was full of them. Each one was a sun. Many of them had planets. Many of those planets had people on them who were going to bed or waking up or eating dinner with their families. They were all part of the same large, strange, fragile galaxy. The galaxy that had once thought humanity was small. The galaxy that had killed our Envoy on camera, expecting tears. It had gotten something else, something it had not expected, something it had spent 11 years not understanding. It had gotten a species that knew how to wait and how to plan and how to act and how to stop. A species that built warships in lunar shadow but also wrote poetry. A species that could destroy a homeworld but chose to land Marines instead. A species that, when given total power, used it once, used it carefully, and then put it down. A species that, in the end, was just trying to be the best version of itself, the same as everyone else. A small breeze came in off the sea. Maya leaned her head against my shoulder. "Dad." "Yes, Maya. I love you. I love you too, sweetheart." The stars kept turning above us. The sea kept rolling below us. Somewhere far above, the fleets of the Sol Accord were patrolling their long lanes, keeping the peace. I thought of Helen, who had given her life for words. I thought of the 312 sailors I had lost in the Quarn battle. I thought of the Krell judge with 4 arms, dead in his cell now, 10 years ago. I thought of all of it, all the long story of how a small species from a small blue planet had stood up and made the galaxy listen. We had made our point. We had made it well. And the galaxy, I thought as the stars turned slowly above me, would never need us to make it again. That was the gift Helen had given us. Not a war, a new kind of peace. A peace built on the simple, hard knowledge that some people, some species, some small blue planets, when pushed too far, will push back and will not stop and will not lose. But will, in the end, choose to set the work down and go home and sit on a porch by the sea with their daughter and watch the stars come out. That was the human way. That was, in the end, our gift to the galaxy. The stars kept turning. Maya kept her head on my shoulder. The waves kept rolling in. And the galaxy, at long last, was at peace.